Oh my god, guys, I am totally freaking out. I swear that was the very best episode of the entire series of American Horror Story. I love the twist so much, like so much. But we have so much to discuss and so much to talk about, and we have to figure out where this is going to go from here because I think there are just 4 episodes left and it really took on this whole other show, you know? I mean, it's like literally it did become a show within a show. So basically, to try to explain this, as confusing as it is, we watched a documentary that was shot or that was aired or shot in 2015 for the first half. I think we all realized that. Those people were actors, like I'd said before. And now the guy Sydney, who I guess had this idea for the show, it was very popular. These unknown actors who played the roles in Roanoke became famous. Some of them won awards. They were, being talked about on social media, the real people and the fake people. And so he's like, let's capitalize on this. Let's do a reality show by putting all of the actors in that actual house in North Carolina with the real people. So we get to see the actors as themselves, which I loved. I mean, the actors as the actors on the show, if that makes sense, which hopefully it does. And we find out there's a lot of drama that's been going on behind the scenes, like the real Shelby had like a little fling with Dominic, who was playing Matt in the show. The Sarah Paulson character actually, started dating Evan Peters' character because they were filming the show. Then they got married. She's British in real life. He's a ginger. So funny. I found a lot of comedy in this episode and I absolutely love that. I know Ryan loves to bring the element of comedy into his shows. So to see him be able to utilize it in a show where like he can never do that, I love that so much. So Kathy Bates, actually, she played the butcher and she started to really take on that role in real life. She freaked out in Hollywood on people acting like the butcher, and she was so freaking crazy that they banned her from the show, which I gotta say sucks. And my initial thought is she's still gonna come around to the house because she actually moved to North Carolina. So I was like, she's so obsessed, she's gonna show up and be in the reality show in some way. But we don't know yet if that's going to happen. But we do know that she kind of harassed like the Sarah Paulson character and tried to steal her Saturn award. It was just all very funny. But then there were parts that weren't so funny. So there was stuff going on at that house. The interesting thing is the real, or the people who played the actors in Roanoke, I think it was Evan, was saying like they lived there and filmed, or they filmed for a long time and they didn't have any kind of paranormal activity or anything weird, but immediately they started having like the pig stuff left outside, the guy on the crew who basically is like killing himself with a chainsaw. So there's all this crazy crap going on once they start filming this reality show. So I guess we can think that that is the real spirits doing all this stuff. I don't know. I will say that when we had the live reenactment, I think it was Joanna was wondering if maybe these, like Sydney, who's completely crazy and money hungry, was possibly paying these people, paying someone to actually kill people in the house. So we switched to this reality format, like everybody moves in, they're filming with GoPros and their cell phones. Before we even do that, one of the people on the crew decides she doesn't want a part of this after the guy gets killed with a chainsaw, and she's driving away and she sees like a weird person, like a Victorian person in the field, and the next thing you know, Pigman is in her car and he kills her and it's all caught on camera. So what I was starting to formulate my theory watching this, and I was like, I think the next few episodes up until the finale will be our second show, our show within a show. We saw the documentary, now we're on to 3 Days in Hell, whatever. This is the reality show, the second season for 2016, and I was like, they're all absolutely going to die. So what blew my mind is that the show, and we're watching a show within a show within a show. You know that both of the things we've seen so far in this season, we're watching a different show. It's really not American Horror Story, I still don't think, because we get these subtitles that are, pertaining to that documentary that we watch, and now the subtitles pertaining to the reality show, which we're currently watching. So it's like, why didn't we get the theme song? Because we're still not watching American Horror Story. I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever get the theme song this season because we're seriously watching 2 other shows. We've watched 2 other shows that are not American Horror Story, if that makes sense. But then we get the revelation that they have the graphic on the screen that every single person dies in that house who is in the house except for one. And I immediately think it's going to be Evan who survives because Ryan was just quoted this week saying that he plays a huge role in this part after the twist of the season. okay. But anyway, what's weird to me, there's a lot of things weird to me. Lady Gaga never shows up in this season, or this episode. Where the heck is she? I don't know. I was wondering about Cuba Gooding's character, who's Dominic. He finally shows up near the end. So we know, I don't know. Who do you think survives? That's the question I would like for you to answer down below. Who is going to survive? But the other issue is that Ryan is saying this article, and I think it was, it's on my Twitter. I think it was like a Hollywood Reporter article. I can link it down below here in this video. But basically he was saying that Taissa, we know, is coming back. She's supposed to have a big role. Didn't see her at all. And then Finn is supposed to have a huge role as the ultimate villain. So I don't know if he's supposed to be the pig person. We did see Mason creeping around the house. One of the things that they did this episode, which I thought was absolutely genius, and I actually forgot about it and should have been thinking about it, is if you remember, the crazy nurses didn't finish the murder word, okay? So in the house, in real life, you know, they were missing the R, and they needed a person whose name started with R. So in the end, it looks like Sarah Paulson's going to be our first one to die because she's, you know, sees stuff while she's in the shower, and she comes running out, and Evan goes to check it out for her. And his name is actually Rory, the real person, and it just didn't look good for him because it was the last few minutes of the show, and those crazy, creepy nurses show up and stab him to death, which is like, are you serious? But it all makes sense because then the R appears. So the R they were waiting on an R person, and that's Rory. But are they only doing this now because of the blood moon? Because they could have killed him when they were filming, right? So I'm just a little bit lost on that. But I don't know. I can't imagine that Evan is not going to still be in the show, especially after what Ryan said in the interview. I don't think he's going to be off of this show. So does he appear in the rest of the episodes as a ghost? Because we only have 4 episodes left. How is he going to be utilized in the rest of the episodes? So I'm interested to see what your thoughts are about how the rest of the 4 episodes are going to play out, and what you thought about the twist episode. Thumbs up if you loved it. I just thought it was absolutely excellent every way. I loved it so much, and I'm so glad we got out of that old Roanoke storyline we've been in, because I thought it was starting to drag on, and if the whole season had been there with that same setup, I think that would have just been totally boring and not a great season. So if you are just now seeing me for the first time, I'm covering all of American Horror Story, including live reactions every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern. So hope you will subscribe and thumbs up this video if you enjoyed it. But thank you so much for watching. I cannot wait to watch your theories. So have a great rest of your week. Bye, guys.